Hey Walking Dead fans, we're going to check out in this video some news that's been released about Season 10 of The Walking Dead. They've been releasing news daily leading up to Friday, the San Diego Comic-Con, where they're going to release the trailer for Season 10. We can't wait for that. But we got confirmation that Negan will be released from jail in Season 10. You know, there's been a lot of bad guys in The Walking Dead, and you would think that Negan, the stuff that he did, pretty much a tyrant and a murderer, you would think that was, you can't come back from that. You can't forgive a guy like that. So at least life in prison, if not death. And Carl, of course, in his letters and everything said, spare Negan and, don't kill him. So Rick didn't and put him in prison, put him in a jail cell at Alexandria. And those of you that follow the comic, he was let out as well. And there's a whole Whisper arc storyline to that I won't get into necessarily for spoilers, but let's hope it plays out very similar in the show once he's let out of jail. And one of the reasons why, if you'll notice the scene at the end of season 9 when Negan was after the snowstorm, right, he had hurt his leg, he's laying in the bed, he's not tied down, he doesn't have handcuffs, there's not a guard, it doesn't look like standing at the door. Michonne's there talking to him. So even at that point right there, that redemption, he saved Judith and Daryl's dog, in the snowstorm. And he's done a few other things, and the way he's talking and some of the things that he said. But, you got to think, Negan getting out of jail, when Maggie came to Negan, that was pretty much the last time we saw Maggie, except when the bridge blew up, Rick shot the bridge. Maggie left after that episode. She went out with Georgie to do some civilization building or whatever it is they're doing. But Maggie had went to Alexandria to kill Negan, but saw that he was so pathetic, locked up for life, that was the best punishment for him, and she let him live, right? But that's life in prison. She thinks, cool, let him live if he's going to have to stay in that jail cell. But Maggie's not there on the show anymore, so there's one thing that they could write, or if it happens, if Maggie comes back to the show, there'd be some tension there. So I don't know how Maggie, the character, if she does return, how she'll react to Negan being let out, so that'll be interesting. But Negan plays a big part in the comics in the Whisper arc, and like I said, I won't say any spoilers in this video, but man, I'm actually looking forward to season 10 to see how they write the Whisper War, but one of the main things is how they write Negan in the Whisper War, and Carol. But in the interview, Angela Kang said we had a whole year with him in his cell, so I think after his heroic rescue of Judith, people might have noticed that he was in that bed in the infirmary, he was not tied up or cuffed. So we're dealing with the next stage of what things are for Negan. I think people who have been wanting us to release the Negan, there will be some satisfaction there. Oh yeah. She went on to say Negan's story is one of my personal favorites in this season. Things get complicated because it's Negan. Some of the stuff Negan is doing is so compelling because here's this guy who has been on a path of trying to redeem himself in some way, but he's still Negan. He's not the hero. He's at best an anti-hero, but there's definitely darkness and an edge to him. She said when that is in the mix with a story having to do with this new set of enemies, and when he himself still is an outsider in the community, just a lot of explosive things are at play. Of course, we've already talked about Negan getting out of jail in some other videos, and there has been several articles out there talking about it and different things, right? So, and even way back when we were introduced to Beta, we were talking about it because we were like, oh man, to see Negan fighting Beta, which should happen actually, but there won't be a per se winner, kind of like the Daryl and Beta fight. That's what I'm predicting anyway. And I do think Negan will perform the act he did in the comics as far as the spoiler goes. So I really hope they show in the season 10 trailer. It'd be awesome if they did show just even a split second of Negan fighting Beta. That'd be badass. But we did get that photo of Michonne released as well, we've got a bunch of news, but Friday's just right around the corner, so we just can't wait for all that information. And stay tuned to the channel for videos on the season 10 trailer and stuff they may say in the panels, and the actors will be doing interviews and stuff. Angela King will be saying some more stuff, the Rick movie information, all that kind of stuff. But what else do we know about season 10 so far? Let's do a quick recap of some of the information that we've learned. We do know Angela Kang will be showrunner, and she did an explosive season 9 in my opinion, so I'm really geared up and anxious to see what she's doing with season 10. I'm very excited about it. And Norman Reedus, this is going to be his first full season of a top billed actor, because Norman Reedus, he's gone. Rick had went missing, went off on the helicopter. And of course, Greg Nicotero's still there doing the makeup and stuff. He's still directing episodes, and he plays such a huge part in the show. And the way Angela Kang has been talking is Greg has come up with a lot of cool things in season 10. Possibly some of it, the medieval fighting they may have to do. But at the very first, she said as the season opens, there's some cool stuff that Greg worked on that's unique to the show. So we're looking forward to that. And we've known for a while that it's going to be Denai Guerrera's final season. And that's Michonne, of course. And we don't know how she's going to leave the show. But in the comics, if you're familiar with the comics, she actually does leave the area. She goes off on a boat. And that could easily play into her going off looking for Rick. And she lives and somehow ends up, of course, in the Rick movies, which is not confirmed yet. So we're hoping that's how it plays out. Let's wait till Friday. We may get some more clues on that. And we know that Lauren Cohen's TV show that she went off to do has been canceled. Will she return? Angela Kang says that they are working on it. So we don't know if she'll be back in season 10, even for a little bit, or if maybe she can make it back in the season 11, because they've already filmed most of season 10, or at least half of it. So it's like, okay, how can Maggie return? We're just not sure yet. Because, they announced a new spinoff. So there's the Rick movies, there's the new spinoff. Could Maggie return in one of those? Could Michonne go to one of those or appear in some of the other stuff as well? And Angela Kang announced that one of the familiar faces from the comic, Dante, would be coming to the show. And those of us as comic readers know that Dante should have already been kind of introduced, and Alden took part of his role, I guess. And of course, we do know there will be a several-month time jump. It's not a big one. I don't think it's anything to get up in arms about. Oh my God, another time jump. It's just going from winter, where it was snowing, into the summer. No problem. Rosita was fairly far along in her pregnancy. She should have her baby by the time we come back into the summer. It's just not that long of a time jump. I don't think enough to be worried about. And I'm kind of glad that they're getting out of the winter into the summer, personally. And we definitely know that the Whisperer problem is the main thing that's going to be happening in season 10, the Whisperer War. But unlike the Negan War, the all-out war, where it was guns blazing, this is going to be a more what Angela Kang described as a Cold War, a paranoia, propaganda, that kind of stuff. And so it's going to be very interesting, I think. But the trailer will be dropping at San Diego Comic-Con Friday, July 19th. That is just coming up. So stay tuned definitely to the channel. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more dead stuff.